What's up, everybody? It's Friday, March 12th, 2021. In this video, we're going to take a little blast to the past and examine why Hugh Grant was in the news today. Of course, this story has nothing to do with anything recent. Hugh Grant is in the news due to his 1995 lewd conduct allegation where he got caught with a prostitute named Divine Brown. So in this video, we're going to examine the numerology of this story and why Hugh Grant is in the news about this over 25 years later. This story will look at the numerology of Hugh Grant, his girlfriend at the time, Elizabeth Hurley. We'll also look at the prostitute Divine Brown, who does have a given birth date on Wikipedia, and also how this connects to a singer named Divine Brown, a Canadian singer. And the alignments here may alarm you because, as we've learned, the mainstream media is basically the world's biggest lie campaign. And everything they do is to give us their side of the story, keep us talking about celebrities. So consider this video dedicated to Fox News commenter BBSMF and all the other commenters on Fox News who don't realize that this outlet, even though it appears to be neutrally conservative, is actually lying to them and hiding the truth just as all the liberal publications are. So we start with the date of this news story, March 12th, the date written 3/12. In English Gematria, the word cheater sums to 312. Nice date for a story about a cheater. But here's where numerology is very simple. The first thing I did was check how old Hugh Grant was on this date. And measuring from his September 9th, 1960 birthday to the date of this news article, we find a nice round number, 22,100 days, like the number 221. Of course, this has been a big number ever since the calendar turned to the year 2021. This story is about a prostitute named Divine Brown, whose real name we'll look at in a little bit. Her August 9th birthday was the 221st day of the year. In the reduction method, solicitation equals 56. Today's news story falls on a date with primary numerology of 56. This brings us to the birthday of Elizabeth Hurley, who turns 56 years old exactly 90 days after this story. Notice her full name, Elizabeth Jane Hurley, sums to 90 in the reduction method. But I also found her reverse reduction gematria interesting, the number 99. Hugh Grant was born on September 9th, the only date written 99. And notice how they dated for 13 years. And in the alphabetic order, the number 13 is the only number to sum to 99. So it appears as if even their relationship may have been staged or arranged. But just to show that this is no coincidence, this September 9th birthday is also the same date of birth of the singer named Divine Brown. Now, you could consider this pretty interesting because even though she was about 21 years old when Hugh Grant was arrested back in the 90s, her career didn't actually take off for another 10 years when she started releasing music in 2005. But nonetheless, this character, because she shares a name with a major character in this story, Divine Brown, is numerically connected. I'm going to touch on this arch eclipse riddle in a little bit, and I want to point this out because as I've been following on this channel and on my blog, there's an ongoing theme with this year's two arch eclipses and the city of St. Louis, Missouri, whose arch eclipse was constructed in tribute to these two events. Now, the singer Divine Brown doesn't have a long discography. She only has a couple singles here, no real albums, maybe a couple. But notice how her biggest critical acclaim came in the year 2009 for her work on The Love Chronicles. And 2009 is a number that stuck out to me right away in this decode. Notice how the name Elizabeth Jane Hurley sums to 2009 in standard Jewish Gematria. And the singer Divine Brown, who Liz Hurley's boyfriend cheated on her with, winning a Juno Award in 2009. The singer Divine Brown, on the date that Hugh Grant was arrested, was 1,085 weeks old. And this sticks out because her former artist name is Divine Earth Essence, which sums to 185 in the alphabetic order. This number was also coded into a character that Hugh Grant played recently. Back in December, there was a TV special called Death to 2020. And in this little special, Hugh Grant played a character named Tennyson Foss. Notice how this also gives us that same 185. The singer Divine Brown was born on a date with primary numerology of 111. That's 9 plus 9 plus 19 plus 74. And that also sticks out, because if you measure from her birthday to the birthday of Elizabeth Hurley, you get a span of exactly 111 months. Notice how Divine Earth Essence and Tennyson Foss also has 111 Gematria in Sumerian. Furthermore, the prostitute Divine Brown, her full name sums to 111 in reverse reduction. Now check this out. The prostitute, Divine Brown, was also born on the 9th. Just like Hugh Grant, born September 9th, just like the singer Divine Brown, born September 9th. So Hugh Grant was born exactly 107 months before the prostitute. That prostitute was born exactly 50 months after Liz Hurley. And notice how these numbers are both in the Gematria of Liz Hurley and Hugh Grant and Tennyson Foss. Estella Marie Thompson, this also sums to 105 with the S exception. That matches the reverse value of sex worker, 105. Her primary birth numerology, meanwhile, is 105. Worth noting, by the way, that if you measure from the release or first airing of this special Death to 2020 to the date of this news story, it's 10 weeks and 5 days. That's also 75 days, and Elizabeth Hurley sums to 75. I think Death to 2020 with the full number calculation is 75 in the same method. Again, this story is 75 days after the TV special Death to 2020. Now, for my ardent followers out there who are interested in the eclipse code, understand there's a very significant eclipse riddle here as well, and it's actually undeniable. And just check this out. Elizabeth Hurley, born in the year 1965. The Gateway Arch was completed in the year 1965. Elizabeth Hurley's birthday of June 10th matches the date that the Gateway Arch was inaugurated to the public, June 10th, on her second birthday. See that? June 10th here in 2021 is the date of the first of two arch eclipses. Now remember, these eclipses are significant for a very special reason. Most eclipses travel from west to east, or the paths of them. But because these two eclipses this year, both the annular eclipse on June 10th, the anniversary of the arch's inauguration, and the total eclipse on December 4th, both have the unique property of changing direction and going east to west because of their location at the poles. And of course, the Gateway Arch was built to commemorate east to west expansion here in the United States. The arch was inaugurated exactly 54 years before that first arch eclipse. Notice how sun arches and sun arches all equal 54. Furthermore, St. Louis, Missouri with matching gematria with total solar eclipse. So I have videos on this. Please see my videos on Elliot Page and then Gabby Tuft. I talk about the number 221 and the arch eclipses a lot. Well, Gateway National Park, where the St. Louis Arch sits, is intriguingly shaped like the female anatomy. See how you overlay a diagram of the fallopian tubes, and it lays perfectly over this arch. And this is a symbolism for the female anatomy. Remember, the arch was inaugurated in the year 67. The word female equals 67. Just this past week, we celebrated International Women's Day. That was March 8th, the 67th day of the year. So 67, a number always coded around females. And isn't it interesting that, you know, Hugh Grant says why he cheated in this article that came out today. And he said it was because of his poor performance in the film 9 Months. 9 months, like a pregnancy, which occurs in the fallopian tube, showing us how this is connected to the Gateway Arch. In the alphabetic order, the arch equals 63. A big number for the Gateway Arch, which is not only 630 feet high, but it's also 630 feet wide. And construction of the arch began in the year 63. So I've established this before. This is a major number for the arch. And now look at the damn name of the prostitute that Hugh Grant was said to have gotten with. Divine equals 63. The last name Brown is 63. And then the name Divine Brown is 63 in both reduction methods. If you measure from Hugh Grant's arrest to the date of the story even, this is how deep these riddles run. You get a span of 25 years and 259 days. St. Louis, 25. St. Louis Gateway Arch, 259. Notice how St. Louis Gateway Arch also shares a 74 with St. Louis. And isn't it interesting that Hugh Grant was arrested 74 days before his birthday? The singer Divine Brown was born in the year 74 even. And how funny, too, is it that this prostitute was born in the year 69? She was caught giving a blowjob to Hugh Grant. So here we have it. And remember, 2021, a very significant year for these solar eclipses. And I point to the book of Revelation, which sounds scary, but we got to do it. There's a verse in Revelation that mentions both a solar and lunar eclipse. You see, it mentions the sun became black as sackcloth of hair. The moon became as blood, like a red moon during a lunar eclipse. Notice how this verse sums to 2210 in the reverse alphabetic order, reminding us of how old Hugh Grant was on the date of this story. His full name summing to that 221 as well. But also notice the reduction method where it sums to 526. The 2021 total lunar eclipse is on 5/26/2021. So this is a huge lunar eclipse numerically. Also, this Revelation 6:12. Oh, this is what I wanted to point out. In the alphabetic order, total solar eclipse equals 202. The 2020 total solar eclipse occurred on December 14th. And notice how that kicked off lunation 1212. And total solar eclipse 202 like 2020 and 1212 like the lunation. So again, this is why we got the coronavirus pandemic in 2020. Declared on the 11th of March, or 11/3. Operation Warp Speed was enacted by Donald John Trump. Operation Warp Speed 220, Donald John Trump 220. And imagine this. The first doses of the vaccine were made available on December 14th, the date of the eclipse. And I've been saying this is an eclipse ritual since the day they called it a pandemic. Remember, it's called coronavirus. The corona. Just look up corona definition. What do you get? This is the sun's corona, right? Visible only during a total solar eclipse. And here we are in the United States between the two total solar eclipses, which create an X over the United States. A mark of judgment, perhaps, but more likely a satanic ritual, meant to shame the public into thinking they're all dirty, that they're just diseased people who shouldn't be allowed to spend time in the same room together. Never mind that the disease where this allegedly originated, or the country where this disease allegedly originated, say that 10 times fast, is all back to normal, doing concerts, no social distancing. But in America, we have a large economy to destroy, so this virus has to go on for another 3-4 years. I mean, they're not saying that yet, but they're planning on it. You know, they already want us to wear masks through 2022, which, that's up to you guys. If you really want to be a little bitch for the rest of your life and wear a chin diaper, then go for it. But eventually you're going to realize it's never going to stop. Or they don't want it to anyway. But yeah, again, just wanted to answer this comment here. You know, why a story like this in the news 25 years later? Well, remember, it's by the numbers. And it's too bad that so many people are still asleep to this. You know, they just flick on the television and turn their brains off, drop themselves into an alpha wave state, and just ingest the content like everything's normal, everything's real. Just, hey, we'll just feel like putting this in the news today, so here you go. But of course, when you know about the numeric matrix, everything makes so much more sense. Peace, love, God bless. Talk to you next time. See ya.